White racism created these black ghettos, as we said it then, and it's white racism which sustains them.
Any white person who was born, raised, and schooled in the United States of America, if you aren't a racist, you're a miracle.
You know, white people tend to speak differently when it's only white people in the room. My whole life, even since I was young, when I heard that shit, it was disgusting to me.
Isn't it a shame to see our race mixing with another? What's going to happen to our white purity?
The way a white person talks about people of color when they're angry is what shows their true colors.
Are you saying that black people, African Americans, descendants of slaves, are taking advantage of that?
Oh,
you just said
that's not what I'm saying.
It, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society. Please stand.
So I want a show of hands of everyone at this table who is racist.
Racism in America is not personal, it is institutional. Most people in America are racist without even knowing it. This video we're gonna be hearing from white folks themselves speaking out, explaining how racism in America is institutional and how themselves use it to be racist without knowing it. At the end, I will come back with my own full analysis of what was said. Make sure you watch the video from the beginning to the end, and as you're watching, leave your own comments down there in the comment section. Tell me what you think. This video is for educational purposes. Let's get into it.
Teacher exposes racism in 1-minute exercise.
It, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society. Please stand. You didn't understand the directions. If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to...
That's Jane Elliott. She's a badass teacher and an anti-racism advocate. And in today's society where schools are passing laws to ban books and to whitewash history, man, if only we had more people like Jane.
White racism created these black ghettos, as we said it then, and it's white racism which sustains them. We're not talking about where one white person hates black people. We're talking about a system where you live in an all-white neighborhood. You go into a building, an office, where all you see is white people, and you don't think anything's strange about that. That's what we're talking about. And we thought that was important for young black people particularly. You're not crazy. There is systemic racism in this country.
You say that all whites are racist. Can you expound on that, please?
Any white person who was born, raised, and schooled in the United States of America, if you aren't a racist, you're a miracle. Either that or you decided to educate yourself. Because education in this country is about white is right, brown's all right, black's got to stand back. Yellow's mellow, but whites, we educate in a way that says that white males have done all the adventures, have made all the adventures, have done all the discovering, have made everything that is good and has been accomplished according to social studies, which is actually anti-social studies, by white males. It's a lie. But we do that in order to maintain the myth of white superiority.
She said, if you grew up in America and you're not racist, you're a miracle, because the system itself teaches you to be that way. And honestly, what she said hits deep. She's not saying every white person hates others. She's saying the education system was built to glorify white history and hide everyone else's. That's a powerful truth. And it's rare to hear it from someone inside the same group she's calling out.
Look, I'm a white man. I want to get my perspective on racism. I've been getting so much of it in the comments lately from white people. You know, white people tend to speak differently when it's only white people in the room. My whole life, even since I was young, when I heard that shit, it was disgusting to me. I would hear it and be like, why do y'all speak like that? Why would y'all think it's such a... Where's this hatred coming from? When I see racist white people and I hear things they have to say, I'm ashamed to be the same race as y'all. I just feel kind of disgusted sometimes when I hear it. I'm like, what? Because I can never relate to you. It's the way white people feel like they're so right when they say these things. Like they really, really believe these things from the core. That's what bothers me the most. I created this TikTok to do entertainment. And during me doing the entertainment, I've been getting so much hate because I am in an interracial relationship. So now I decided to use my platform to stand for something. Stand to get something. Y'all white people have no reason to feel supreme. No reason to feel better than no reason to look down on people. We are all the same. We all bleed the same blood. We're all born from the same way. I'm standing against y'all. It's time for change, and I'm gonna do.
When I first started teaching, I was in a teacher training program with 3 other women. 2 of them were Black and 1 of them was Indian, and we started teaching at the same school, the same grade, at the same time. One of these women, a Black woman, completely excelled. She did so much better than I did at literally everything. Classroom management, her test scores were high. She was excellent at literally everything. And something about her excellence didn't sit right with me. I just didn't feel good about it, and I couldn't figure out why I didn't feel good about it. It was internalized racism, but I didn't know that yet. So I had to sit with this idea of her being better than me and trying to figure out why it didn't feel good and feel comfortable for me. And of course, at the time, I didn't know that I needed to do the work of anti-racism, so I didn't think it was possibly because I could have internalized racism. I had to do a lot of study and thought about myself and what could possibly be making me feel this way about this woman. And here's what I discovered. Most of the media that I had consumed up to that point in my life had white people as the central characters. And the shows and other media that I consumed that had white women at the central characters often had Black women as the side characters. These Black women's role in these movies was to assist the white women, support the white women, advise the white women, but never to rise above the white women. Even shows that were about Black women, like The Help, had white women as the central character and the Black women as supporting characters. So I internalized the idea that Black women were there to support me and to advise me, but not to rise above or become better than me. And that's why when this Black teacher was way better and more talented than me, I felt some kind of way about it. Now, I'd imagine lots and lots more white women have also internalized the same idea, and that's why they feel okay stealing Black women's content and not giving them any credit, because the Black women are just there to advise them anyway. But most Black women are natural leaders. Society has forced them to become leaders. And so we need to step aside and let them lead, even if it means checking our privilege and letting them lead us.
The way a white person talks about people of color when they're angry is what shows their true colors. Prior to Trump's presidency, it wasn't in style to be racist, and actually it was looked down upon. White people realized that they could lose their jobs, and so they became better and better at hiding it. And because of this, the only way that they would reveal their true feelings is when a person of color makes them angry. For instance, take a look at this video with Charlie Kirk.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank.
And I would say this phenomenon is pretty common among white people. They might seem like they're okay until someone makes them upset, and then they result to slurs, name calling, etc. It's something you see a lot in comment sections as well. And essentially what's happening is that the more threatened they feel, the more they need to lash out. They're so used to being in power and respected all the time that when a person of color, quote, steps out of line in their eyes, then they immediately feel the need to retaliate. And sometimes it's just verbal assaults, like calling somebody slurs, and other times it actually does lead to physical violence. This is just a reminder that the only way to see how some white people feel about you truly is when they're angry. And if they get really out of line, even if they apologize, you should absolutely not be friends with this person because they clearly do not value you or your life.
Like, I am one of the only English-speaking Americans in my complex, and that doesn't seem right to me. How is this okay? That I, an American, am being conquered, basically, in my own home. Is anybody else upset with this? It has nothing to do with race. I'm speaking about fellow Americans being pushed out of their homes and being conquered by people who aren't from here, people who don't speak our language. It feels wrong. This diversity thing doesn't seem like it's going good.
In white American culture, ethno-nationalism plays a central role in self-identity. Because of white ethno-nationalism, English is not just the dominant language. It's considered superior and mandatory for integration and acceptance into society, a belief that goes back to European imperialism and remains alive and well today. But why? This entire narrative is fear-based thinking. It's meant to further promote white ethno-nationalistic identity and the dominance of whiteness. These elements together create an environment where newer arrivals and people of color are marginalized and subjected to Anglo-conformity in order to gain acceptance. This then maintains the status quo and perpetuates systemic inequality.
And I also want to lay a couple of other things down. You've mentioned it and you've mentioned it. Being married to a black person or a brown person, having brown or black children does not make you impervious to racism. You cannot, frankly, f*** your way out of racism.
As a white passing mixed person, I hear racist stuff all the time. It's time to expose. Alright, so one time I was with this group of white people, and the girls were talking about this girl who had jungle fever. And this white girl goes, "Isn't it a shame to see our race mixing with another? What's going to happen to our white purity?" I couldn't believe what I just heard. There was another time where I was at a party, and the only other black person there left early. Right after he left, one of the white dudes there proceeded to say the N-word. Not even in a song or anything, just said it out loud. When I confronted him about it, he said, "What? He's not here anymore." Little did he know that I'm a double agent. Needless to say, that situation was handled. There was another time where we were talking about an opposing basketball team. We were talking about why the team was so good, and somebody goes, "They're only good because they let all the charity cases on the team." There were no white people on this team. I'm sure I'm not the only white passing person with these kinds of stories, so feel free to duet.
No, in my heart, I'm not a racist. I don't owe an apology. I cannot stand that white people are being told to apologize for, even though they've never done one racist thing in their life. Have people gone mad? Apologize for what? Apologize? I just can't even get there with my head. There's your white privilege showing, Alex. Don't come with me. Don't come at me with the white privilege bullshit. Don't come at me with the white privilege bullshit. This is a new word that is just like been created because it's just like the new buzzword, and then it's like you can't say anything about that because it makes you shut up. Oh, it must have white privilege. Let me like read more about like why I'm a racist. Oh my god, like wait, I noticed he was black. Like, am I a racist now? Like, this is the kind of, you are like,
you know what, white people, you've had your voice here for 524 years. 524 years you've been visible, white lady. You've been visible for 524 years. Look how fast your white man comes and steps up for you. Where is everybody else to come and step up for us?
We want to think that we are better. White women have abused us our whole lives. Why do we have to hold your hand? Can't we just tell you, hey, you guys have hurt us. This is what you've done. Now make it right.
I have this discussion with people that I know, friends, lawyers, everybody, and they'll say, well, Regina, you know, there are some good white people. And I'll go, well, what have the good white people been doing for the last 450 years? What have you been doing? Obviously, it's not enough because nothing has changed.
So I want a show of hands of everyone at this table who is racist. So I saw a couple people surprised that I raised my hand. When I said that I was racist, I am racist against black people. So it's institutional. Indians are institutionally racist against black people.
I don't see color. I don't see. So how she said, I'm blinded to color. Like, it doesn't faze me at all. When we bleed red.
I'm just going to drop the bomb here. That's white supremacy. Color blindness is white supremacy. Do not teach your kids to be colorblind. Do not talk about color blindness. Don't say that I don't see the color of your skin and we cut ourselves open, it's bleeding red.
If you're going to cry, leave the table and go into the living room there.
It's right there.
When a white woman starts crying, what happens?
All the attention is being When I was in Charleston, South Carolina last summer, I get into my Lyft And the guy turned around and looked at me and he said, lady, he goes, I hate to have to say this to you, but if I get pulled over, you're just another black woman. And he's black. And he said, put your hands up. Do as they say. Do not make any trouble.
He actually told you that.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, dear God.
Of course.
That's the life he lives. And that's his reality.
But that's insane. But
that's his reality. Anger.
She's worried that her kids are going to die. I cannot remember a time that I have not woken up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat. I want to ask also to stop acting shocked. So part of white feminism is acting so surprised when we tell you.
But it is. Why are you telling us not to act the way that we act if it is surprising?
Because
to me, that is surprising.
That upholds white supremacy. Why are your feelings so hurt? But why are your feelings more important than the reality of the violence of our lives?
You walk through the world with a different experience because you are a white woman.
I want to. So I can't sit here? You gotta go. Sorry, sis.
I think I have a little bit of a problem with the we versus I. I think that there is the big perpetual we, right? We white women for sure. But I think there's also we African Americans and we were slaves, right? And these things happen to us. That doesn't happen to everybody, right? I mean, and I understand. And I am here.
It happened to all African Americans.
Yeah. It didn't happen to you.
Listen. One of the things that we know, let me just say.
I have a lot of Native American history, and I don't take advantage of any of that.
Time out. Are you saying that black people, African Americans, descendants of slaves, are taking advantage of that? You just said
that's not what I'm saying.
At these dinners, we see white women behaving badly. And that bad behavior looks like denial of white supremacy, denial of racism, and even denial of slavery. This is nothing new.
Why is it that being called a racist makes you so upset?
It doesn't make me upset anymore. I believe that every white person is racist because of the system. And I had to learn about the system to get that.
Do I love you less because you're a different color? Absolutely not.
But do you realize that everything you're saying is taking away everything they just said?
That is such everything you just said is such bullshit, frankly. But it is. It is.
When we start talking about racism in America, one of the most important things that people have to understand is that racism is not just about personal hate. It's not about somebody waking up one day, deciding they don't like another race, and choosing to act on that. Most of the time, racism is something that is learned, normalized, passed down, and built into a system that existed long before people living in it today were even born. So we have to separate an idea of an evil individual from the reality of a system that was created on inequality and keep running for many years. Many white people did not choose to be raised around racist ideas. They did not choose their families, their neighborhoods, their churches, the school systems, the movies they watched, or the jokes they heard growing up. A child doesn't create his environment, he absorbs it. And when a child is exposed to a certain narrative over and over again, especially from adults they trust, that starts to become their version of normal. And that is how bias is formed. Not because people think I want to be a bad person, but because what they are seeing and hearing is being unchallenged, and after a while it feels like a truth. That doesn't mean that individuals are not responsible for their actions as adults, because there comes a point where you have to start questioning as an adult, to step outside of your environment and start asking yourself, is this really true? Is this really fair? Am I benefiting from something that is hurting someone else? And that is where personal responsibility begins. But it is also very important to be honest about where the real problem comes from. And most of the time, it is not only in people, it is in policies, it is in laws, it is in institutions, it is in the criminal justice system, and it is in the way opportunities are distributed. When people say racism is institutional, they are not saying that every white person is going around with hate in their heart. They are saying that the system was built in a way where some people automatically get advantage, even when nobody say anything racist out loud. And that's what makes institutional racism so powerful. It doesn't always look dramatic. Most of the time, it looks quiet, neutral, normal. It looks like policies, job applications, bank loans, and statistics on paper. But when you look at the results, you see the patterns that are impossible to ignore. One thing that is very interesting in this generation is that more white people are starting to realize this, not because someone forced them to, but because information is more available now. Many people can hear black voices, they can see history that was not taught in their classrooms, they can see the patterns, and when you start to become aware of something, it changes the way you see the world around you. Some people respond to that awareness with denial and anger, others respond with reflection and growth. And it is the people who choose the second path who are important in this conversation. It is not easy to realize that you might have benefited from the unfair system. That is uncomfortable. That can cause guilt, shame, confusion, even fear. And some people would rather fight that feeling than accept it. But others are saying, if I really care about justice, if I really care about what is right, then I can't ignore this just because it is making me uncomfortable. And those are the people who start separating themselves from the toxic beliefs. They start to question family conversations. They start to separate themselves from friends who speak with hate. They start to change ways they raise their children. And that is powerful because change doesn't always begin in the government. Sometimes change begins in the living rooms, dinner tables, and private conversations. There is also a very important point that came up about not telling children that they don't see color. That might sound like something very positive, but in reality, it can be very harmful because when you say you don't see color, what you are saying is that you don't see the different experience that it comes with that color. You don't see the struggle. You don't see the history. It is better to teach your kids that people are different and those differences are real. But the differences doesn't mean less value. The difference doesn't mean just unfair treatment. Awareness is not the same as hate. You don't see the reality. In fact, awareness is the first step to justice. And when people openly admit, I grew up hearing racist things and I had to unlearn them, that takes courage because it is easier to pretend that you were always perfect. It is harder to be honest about your environment and your mistake. But honesty is very necessary if healing is to happen. If no one admits that the problem exists, then nothing's going to happen. Silence protects the system, speaking disrupts it. Now, at the same time, it is important not to turn this into a blaming war between races because that's only create more division. The real enemy is not the skin color. The real enemy is ignorance, fear, and the system built on inequality. When we turn this into us versus them, we play into the same mindset that racism was built on in the first place. Real progress happens when people of all backgrounds can say, I can see the problem and I want to be the part of the solution. So that was it for today. Make sure you tell me down there in the comment section what you think about this video. And if you have not yet liked the video, click on that like button. Mr. TA signing off. Ciao.